Good evening. My name is Ali Jabare. I am the program manager of Nemo United, and I am here with Ibrahim
Saho.
Saho. Okay,
Yes.
the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Ali. First of all, name a cabido be controller. Kind of the team of president, kind of down to the respective individuals, to the coaches, and to the players, and cabido movie. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to, share some of the things that happens behind the scene. More bukan and kalamita because Jamaica like Timo. So to them it's the players, other will think it's few individuals, the main players or the Katakana. But you have a whole lot of activities happening behind the scene. Melia Longo, Wall Bukache, or Lani told from Wall Bukafo. So you can like most times you learn real Jambarulti outside of what is happening at the field of play. So coming back to the question of Delaware Timo to them team wala former technical director to know before even promote to second VP competitions. Yeah, just to give a brief history of where I come in, wala mga dati Mindole, coming from Banjul, sa Untafara region in September 2017. And few months down the line, I happened to meet colleagues, namely Lamin Sibi and Abdul Haidara, being introduced to the team called Team Over Minjane because they understand I was a passionate football lover and a player as well. But because in Saunda in a new environment, settling down was a bit challenging. And thanks to these two people, I was able to, they make my stay an easy one and in fun to integrate into the community because more money Saunda Dula Kututo, especially it's always a bit difficult to socialize, connect with people and all of that. But thanks to these two people, it was an easy journey for me to transition from where I came from to where I am now, and I am really appreciative of their efforts. Then it was from there that I also meet colleagues like Mr. Njai, Ebrahim Fati, Lamin Dong, and the others in the mobile to Fonola. But then I met a great team on the ground, so it's like cool that it Walter. Then we already there was a team in place, but then the things that were lacking were mostly organization and structure wise. But then I was lucky to have a little idea of what was needed in order to get the team where everybody wanted to be because initially it was just a community team that was playing normal Navitan and in normal football. Then it was not come that much serious. But with colleagues and in Taraji, the board will build our own effort to build the team and make it a competitive one. Then not a see to start thinking of ways and means the new market and Yanimba Mutarangu Fenya the Foka team to the next phase. Though it was challenging and it was difficult because can be team over level to Jamama along, but then even though Madul on the ground, but getting it off the ground was a really difficult job because from mentality to the structuring to putting in resources, these were all difficult aspects mainly along go. People have to chip in. So that was where we started the work first by introducing certain policies, programs, setting up the technical team and other structures behind. Once we have that solid foundation in the ground, then we can start building the team proper. So even though team will continue to focus on to have, a very good structure, management-wise, maybe along or level that responsible in team off the field, and in front of Kaji Kosa and Katimo move to the next phase. That was where I come in initially as part of the technicians because like I said, on the ground and you have to give them credit and also respect what they were doing. So this was where we started collaborating to assess and understand capacity-wise team over Mindole, what is needed and what needs to be put in place. So this is where we started working in. Many along technically were very gifted technicians. Then we started working with those ones, working with the players in terms of mentality, in terms of understanding, and also in terms of awareness because initially within that these three key things were mostly not present because most of the players were only playing for fun not understanding the business side of it. So it was going to be a difficult one to move them from that phase to take them to the business side of things, to understand modern day football. So we have started preparing the players into believing they can develop the team, not only as a local based team, but again we can even go into proper competitions within the zone and outside of the zone. And this was the first task. And Alhamdulillah, after a few months of hard work behind the scene, we were finally able to get the team to compete in the Nawetan in the proper context, even though we were competing before, but then it was not like this year, because now we have a team, now we have a aim, now we have a sense of direction of where we want the team to be, but also what we want out of players. So it was more like a give and take, where players will give, but players will also receive. Aside from winning competitions locally, players will also be able to move to the next phase of competing in the respective regional tournaments, but at the national level as well, even outside of the Gambia. So it's like it was a three-phase project. Phase one was at the community level, and Alhamdulillah, we were able to do great in the first few years of going reaching the final, I think, on 2 occasions. Then from there, we went for the West Coast qualifiers. After the qualifiers, Alhamdulillah, we came out on top. We qualified to the West Coast third division proper. And from the third division proper again, the tax has to continue, because now you are at the next phase of the competition, where you do not only need players that are ready and prepared, but you also need the technical understanding and the technical awareness. Then we have to build capacity of coaches, prepare coaches, equip them with skills and knowledge, so as to be able to also impact this on players. And a lot of job again was done behind the scenes, having to find the resources, having to mobilize resources, and also having to find the required individuals with the right skills to be able to send them to the trainings respective, and somewhere organized in-house. And again, we have to look at it from the broader perspective, because if we were to grow as a team, we are part of a community, but that community is also part of another community. So now it's a matter of expanding it outside of the community of Nema and to the entire Farado, which was a bit difficult again, but like we said, with open-mindedness and an open arm, we were able to push this and involve everybody in Farado that we believe should be given the opportunity, because at the end of the day, the idea was like, if we give to the people of Farado, then Farado will give back to the team, and thereby the team and the community will grow alongside Farado. So that was the whole idea. So then we started sending coaches, regardless of whether they are part of the community of Nema or not. But then we started sending coaches to do D-licensing coaches, and sometimes we'll bring in the respective coaching bodies to have the training in-house, which was more easier for us, even though it needed more resources to have them here, but then we have to do the sacrifice. And few months down the line, it started paying dividend, because then we now have qualified coaches, not only in Nema but in Farado as well. And as of today, we have few coaches that are qualified up to C level, which is really a big boost for Farado, because at the end of the day, if you want to grow, you do not only grow the players, you want to grow the people that manage the players, because without their knowledge and know-how, it's going to be difficult to prepare your players for the next phase. And as difficult as it was, over the years, we've seen Farado is gradually producing the players that we wanted and producing the talents that we expect coming from Farado. Because immediately I came into Farado, I noticed there was talent, there were real talent. But one thing also we realized was that mentally they were not ready compared to their mates outside of Farado and in other zones, which was a very big challenge. So even to have these players on board at a difficult, all the mentality they had was like Kapili and enjoy the fanfare, and that's where you stop. That's not the aim. So we wanted to shift them to the next phase. Alhamdulillah, we've been able to do that with 1 or 2 players that are now moving to the next phases of their respective careers. And looking at them now, I'm pretty sure in a few years' time, Farado will also boost off a lot of talents that will probably come through the project or the initiative that we initiated for players and coaches as well to be able to explore. So basically that's where the team is right now, competing in the third division very competitively, even though we are yet to secure qualification, which we are very hopeful of. And I'm sure not in the very near future, the next phase of the whole project will shift into qualification into the second round, and then from there again, like we said, fourth division is the target, and hopefully inshallah we will get there.
Okay, Mr. VB. So from the genesis, you made mention of you drafting policies, and then what I want to know is how far have you gone with the attainment of those policies that you have initiated?
Yeah, to quantify the policies in terms of percentage, I would say 50%. 50% in the sense that the idea or the aim at the start of the whole thing was for first division, which we are working towards. So until we got to the first division, we get to the first division now, it's going to be a continuous learning and improving phase for all of us. That is the whole goal. And the 50% will come into was to have the structures in place, which we've fully achieved with regards to the structures, the technical setup, the finance committees, the logistics, the kids managing, and all of that. So we have all those things in place, because these were all things that were not in place. Like I said, when we just come, it was just about Somandanga Wuli, when you're calling at a pele, Dolin Vesolieta, Dolin Yeta, Ngajanjang. Players will not even know who the coach is, who the head coach is, who the assistant is. These were all difficult things. So until you get all these things in place and structure them for things to work smoothly, it was, a really tough job. And Alhamdulillah, we've been able to have all of these things now. You come to Neymar now, it is fully functional. With or without me, it's working fine. It's like they always say, no one should be indispensable, and that was the whole target. And we've been able to achieve this in every aspect of the team. So coming to the other issues, which is with regards to structuring of the teams, we've been also able to go a long way, because we've been not only structure the first team, but we've been able to have an academy in place where we have a whole lot of categories up to reserve level. So it's just a matter of transitioning players from level 1 to 2 to 3, them to the reserve team, and naturally they will transition into the first team without the team having to rely so much on outside talent, which was really, when we look at things, we saw it was really costly, resource wise and in every other aspect. So you have to put things in place that will allow the team to be able to have these things in-house without it costing them much, and that's what we've been able to do with the academy. That's why for me, during my tenure, the greatest achievement we were able to do as a team was to have the academy in place and fully functioning and structured. Because with that now, over the past 2-3 seasons, every year the team will graduate 3, 4, 5 players into the first team, and these players, most of them will continue, to be very outstanding and impressive. So for me, that was one of the biggest achievements under my tenure, and also having these young players, going outside to showcase what they have, because we've been able to send players even up to the national teams that are the under 17 level for trials and all of that. So when we were coming in, all of these things were not in place, and it was difficult to even have players ready to push them even up to the Nametan level, most talk less of going to these things. So without putting these structures in place, it was nearly impossible. But with the help of my teammates, we were able to fix this, and we have these things fully functioning now. So yeah,